Sadiq Khan has sent a message of support to Hongkongers fleeing the Chinese regime's crackdown. The Mayor of London says the city will welcome them with open arms. NTD's Eddie Aiken brings us this report.
In a video message, Mayor of London Sadiq Khan says Hongkongers fleeing the Chinese communist regime will be welcomed in the capital this year.
What I'm keen to do today is to send a message to Hongkongers to say that London will welcome you with open arms, to make sure that the money we've secured from the government is available to community groups to assist Hongkongers, but also to send a message to Londoners to say that we should be welcoming with open arms those that arrive from Hong Kong.
The British government introduced a new immigration pathway for Hongkongers with British national overseas status, after the Chinese regime imposed a draconian security law on the city last year. Beijing's crackdown on freedom and democracy in Hong Kong has prompted many young people and families to flee the city. They say their home has been transformed beyond measure. Mr. Khan says Britain has a moral obligation to help Hong Kongers, and London has long been a welcoming city.
For me, it's quite clear. We've got a moral obligation to help those from Hong Kong, but also that's the history of London.
The government estimates that more than 100,000 Hong Kongers will take up the special visa offer. It allows those eligible to apply for British citizenship after 5 years. Sadiq Khan says his office will spend £900,000 to help new arrivals with housing, education and finding jobs. Eddie Aiken, NTD News.
Hong Kong police arrested 5 people over children's books. The police say the 5 people who published the books aimed to incite hatred towards the city's government. Flora Bradley-Watson reports.
5 people in Hong Kong have been arrested on charges of sedition for books they published featuring sheep and wolves. Hong Kong police say the stories are aimed at inciting hatred amongst young people towards the city's government. Those arrested were members of a speech therapists union that produced books for children. They were arrested under a colonial-era law targeting sedition, which had been rarely used before the anti-government protests. First convictions under the sedition law carry a maximum penalty of 2 years in prison. At a media briefing on Thursday, police displayed the confiscated books. One of them is titled Defenders of the Sheep Village and tells the story of wolves wanting to occupy a village and eat the sheep, who in turn use their horns to fight back. Police say the book was connected to the 2019 protests. 2 other books were highlighted as raising concern, including one about 12 sheep taken by wolves to the beasts' village, where they would be cooked. It potentially alludes to the 12 Hong Kong people captured by China in August last year as they tried to flee the city by boat. Thursday's arrests add to fears about the shrinking space for dissent in Hong Kong since Beijing imposed a national security law last year. Security officials have said law enforcement is based on evidence and has nothing to do with an individual's political stance, background or profession.
Italians enjoying a night out or getting fit at the gym soon need to have a COVID health pass. The Italian government announced on Thursday coming restrictions for people who cannot show proof of immunity or a negative test result. NTD's Joy Duguid has the details.
The Italian government announced on Thursday that from next month, people must present proof of immunity to COVID-19 or a negative test result to access an array of services and venues. Without a so-called green pass, Italians will be denied entry to gyms, swimming pools, museums, cinemas and other public venues and events. The government argues that amid sharply rising cases, the pass is a necessity to avoid another lockdown.
The Green Pass is not an arbitrary matter. It is a condition to keep businesses open.
Indoor dining will also require a pass. Reactions in Rome are mixed.
I don't think it's necessary to introduce the Green Pass. At this point, asking for a Green Pass to eat in a restaurant seems an exaggeration to me.
I am a Green Pass extremist. It is absolutely medieval to have this kind of discussion. It is absolutely vital for our quality of life, for work, for health, to overcome this situation.
I hope this famous Green Pass brings in more customers, but I doubt it. I think we'll lose more customers that way.
The Green Pass was introduced in Italy last month, but until now it has only been needed for travel within the EU. The government's decision to widen its scope followed a similar move by France this month. It underscores growing anxiety about the Delta or Indian variant. The government is also concerned that almost 40% of the adult population has not received a vaccination shot. Italians will need to show a green pass after the 6th of August. Joy Duguid, NTD News.
Budapest's chief architect warns that more needs to be done to protect the city's iconic sites. That's after UNESCO recently recommended that a number of them should be designated as in danger. NTD's John Robson brings us this report.
One of the world's outstanding urban landscapes. That's how UNESCO describes the Buda Castle Quarter in Hungary's capital city. The area was listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987. With its stunning Baroque architecture, it's not hard to say why tourists visit all year round. The 13th century castle has survived numerous earthquakes, sieges and wars. Its designation as a World Heritage Site is far from symbolic.
The World Heritage List is a yardstick, a measurement of real value. It's a measure of a global system. Simply for the indicative value of the list, it's important to be on it.
Retaining this coveted status is not guaranteed. The World Heritage Committee recently recommended that a number of Budapest sites should be added to the in danger list. Buda Castle was included with the committee, citing inappropriate development works. Dropping to the danger list does not strip sites of their World Heritage status. It is a warning to urgently protect a location's unique character. Budapest relies on tourism. With the industry still reeling from the pandemic, there's more pressure than ever to entice travellers.
Why is it not good to be dropped off the list? Losing a listed status means a serious loss of prestige.
The city's tree-lined Andrássy Avenue, a World Heritage Site since 2002, may also drop to the in danger list. The road gives way to magnificent mansions and villas that tower over the leafy streets. There's no doubt that the banks and iconic bridges of the River Danube are one of the most beautiful sights of the city. They're also at risk. As holidaymakers and locals enjoy the view, pressure mounts on Budapest's ruling authorities to do more to protect the city's most beautiful and historic areas. Joanne Robson, NTD News.
A Greek island famous for building wooden boats saw ancient skills passed down from generation to generation. But now it's feared the craft is dying out. NTD's Eddie Aiken has the story.
The Greek island of Samos was once a major production centre for traditional wooden boats. But the art of designing these vessels and building them entirely by hand is under threat. Wooden boats are less popular as plastic and fiberglass ones are cheaper to maintain.
Young people don't want to work on boat building because it's heavy work. Although it's an art, but it's also heavy work. It's tough work. It's manual labor. That's tiring.
Wooden boats are an integral part of the Greek landscape, adorning tourist brochures, postcards, and countless holiday snaps. Each plank of wood has been felled, trimmed, and shaped by one man alone, hauled and nailed into place using techniques handed down through generations from father to son.
It's important to have someone experienced because if you make one mistake, especially in the first stages of building the boat might end up being, well, more of a basin than a boat.
A few decades ago, numerous boatyards dotted the island. They provided a major source of employment and sustained entire communities. Now there are only 4 left. One restored vintage wooden boat is heading back into the water.
This boat for me is my sweet delight. It gives me life. Believe me, even with my health issues, I continue to fight day and night to accomplish this project, which I believe bears beauty. Let's say How can this thing be compared with a plastic one? There's no comparison. No comparison.
For years, the European Union has subsidised the physical destruction of these vessels to reduce the country's fishing fleet. The practice has seen thousands of traditional fishing boats smashed by bulldozers. Eddie Aitken, NTD News.
That's the news for today, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Stuart Lees. Thank you for watching our daily news show on YouTube. You can also watch our other programming on channel 190 on Sky TV or on Freeview via channel box on channel 271. In the meantime though, please give this video a like and hit subscribe to our channel. Have a good day.